What's up, everybody, man? Episode 4 of the 1 a.m. podcast. I'm your host, Rashad Milligan. After a week of Jelani and Mo wearing the do-rag, and then me just being in a state of stuckness and shockness with this current hurricane that's about to hit, and not knowing the impact it's going to have directly on me, I am wearing a do-rag today. But I'm here with my fellow Small Nose and Jelani Easley. Fellas, episode 4, how y'all feeling?
Good, man. What's going on?
Man, I'm good. Ready to get it. Like, another week.
Yeah.
Hope everybody's staying safe.
I heard it. And like we said, like I just mentioned, Hurricane Ida, just hope everybody's doing well. If things are kind of tough with you with that, you probably aren't watching this. You're probably focused on staying alive. So, but to everybody who and then all the 13 U.S. Military members and stuff like that who passed away in Afghanistan this past week, all the folks who's ever passed away in war, and all the folks who are currently dying from this virus. So with all that dark stuff out the way, let's get to some good, happy, patriotic news. The USA women's U16 team, or I guess you can call it girls since they're 16, they're beating the heck out of folks. Are you seeing these final scores? The Costa Ricas and everything. They beat Hold on, let me pull it up. They beat someone 120. They beat Mexico 120-30 yesterday, and they beat, I believe it was Costa Rica 112 to 12.
112 to 12.
It was something like
point.
that. 112-12, man. The girls basketball team, man. The U16 team. Hold on, junior team. Let me look it up. To get the exact scores. And
I'm like, who's on this team?
It's Juju Watkins.
How are y'all?
She's the number one player right now, who's the youngest. And then Jada Williams, she's a good scorer. They also have Olivia Olson, and they also have Maddie Booker. Maddie Booker from Mississippi, Richland, Mississippi. Who's just balling out. But yeah, they beat Mexico yesterday, 121-30.
Yo. No cap, like, where can I find these games? I didn't even know these were on.
YouTube. They're on the YouTube channel, on the FIBA basketball channel. The boys are playing as well, but their games are a lot more normal. They just beat Canada 99-81. But on the women's side is where it's at, man, where they're beating these teams by 100 points. And yeah. So that's what's going on. How do y'all feel about that when you see, I guess, Americans beat the foreign countries down like that?
If I'm on the opposition, we got to fight at that point. Like, because I just feel like that's just kind of excessive. Like, if you beat me by 70, you know what I mean? That's crazy. But 90 points is just, you're trying to prove a point to me. You know what I mean? I don't think that's very necessary. But
they pressing the whole game.
Right.
They're pressing the entire – that's so disrespectful. Don't press me, bro, when you're up by 80 points, bro. Don't press me when you're up 80.
Don't press me when you're up by 30.
Thank you. Yeah, go in zone, bro. Go in zone. Fall back in zone, dog.
Man, I don't know. I feel like it's exploiting the lack of infrastructure.
You feel it's racist?
It's not racist, but it's just like...
Look. They took a picture with them after they beat them by 100 points. Nah, we can't smile after this, bro. I cannot smile with you after you beat me by 100 points, bro. Look at this. Exactly. Mike got clout.
Mike got clout.
Bro, look at these smiles. Bro, I cannot smile with you after you beat me like that, dog. Like you said, we got to throw hands, dog. Look, 121-12.
Bruh.
I gotta just see the highlights because I don't understand how did y'all make the team? If combined, y'all can only score. Like, maybe they didn't pick the best selections for the, you know what I mean, for the squad.
Look, with 5 minutes left, it was 110-10.
So you only scored 2 points left. 2 points with 5 minutes left.
They had 4 points at halftime, so they had a better second half. They doubled their first half total in the second half. Just wasn't quite enough.
I mean, you got to think. That's why I was saying, like, with the lack of infrastructure, it's just like so many girls, like, you have the advantage of possibly training with other either WNBA players or NBA players, or people like Chris Brickley, or et cetera. Ain't no telling who they're training with. These girls in Costa Rica, they ain't training. Like, they training, but they not training with nobody for real. They not really in there. All the best they can do is just watch YouTube videos. That's gonna be good quality. But ain't no famous Costa Ricans going back. Which is
Yeah,
unfortunate, but
I mean, you're right though, and it's why people are saying with the women's national team, don't refer to the women's national team as the soccer team in America because they're losing. The basketball team still is on a winning streak. I mean, of course, they lost a couple of their exhibitions, but in real regular games, they're on like a 60+ game winning streak right now.
and I feel that goes into exactly what I was just saying with the soccer team. How I feel the rest of the world is gaining that infrastructure to be able to compete now. And you see, they didn't even place, which was crazy. I was like, man, like, y'all were the powerhouse. But like, I feel now it's kind of gonna be the same thing for basketball because it's becoming so global, and it's going to continue to just grow. But hey, shout out to America for now. USA.
Yeah, that's the only time I'm like remotely patriotic is, when our sports teams are competing against the world. Outside of that, I kind of root for the other squad, to be honest with you. In life,
Facts.
Yeah.
Yes, but yeah, it's like it's very patriotic to beat Costa Rica by 100 points and just like smack them down like USA. Like I just that's why I was so upset with the men's team when the men's team lost to France and they and so and they got it together and they had every right to talk all the talk they talked after they won the gold medal game. They had all the right to go on Instagram Live. What they say? You had all the right because I was one of those people that was getting on y'all because y'all have no business losing any of these games. I don't care if, excuse me, you talk about the infrastructure being built and the game being global and there being NBA programs overseas and stuff that Adam Silver and David Stern have done a great job of implementing around the world and stuff like that. Still, you're talking about teams with 5 rotational players like France. Like they have one all-star, Rudy Gobert, Fournier, rotational player. Batum, rotational player. Plus he's old. Who else was on the team? They have 5 of them. Nicolina, rotational player, not even in the rotation on the Knicks anymore. And then who's the 5th player? But they have 5. You get the gist of it. And it's just like there's no reason why you should lose to a team with 5 rotational players when all your players at the lowest level are all-stars on your team. So that's just how I feel about it. That's why I was so upset when they were losing. But I'm glad to see the junior teams are doing their thing. Shout out to Olivia Olson from Minnesota once again, like I said. And Maddie Booker. Maddie, you already know we proud of you and stuff like that. Who was talking to me about this morning? Who was talking to me about this morning? It was my boy Kurt. Shout out my boy Kurt Johnson. He was talking to me about it this morning. And I told him I can't really cover it too much into depth because, potential conflict of interest and stuff like that. But that was for you, Kurt, and also wanted to do that. So
Hey, shout out to Kurt.
Yeah, shout out to Kurt. Shout out my boy Kurt. But next thing I wanted to talk about with sports is this fight that's going on tonight. By the time this is out, the fight would already happened, and you guys will already have seen all the memes that would happen regardless of the result. But I wanted to get you guys' take on how do you feel about the YouTubers and influencers doing this boxing thing? How do y'all feel about it just in general?
I mean, it's the thing is like, okay, as far as the boxing goes, the problem is they don't have like in the 80s you had guys like Mike Tyson, or like in the 90s like Holyfield, or like people like this where they can market them, and like these guys have personalities. So it was easy for plus boxing, like just ordering pay-per-views and boxing, like it was just bigger. The sport of boxing was just way bigger at that point. So now, in order to really get that draw, unless it's Mayweather or Pacquiao or somebody like that, it's like already a big name. Basically, you gotta have like it's glorified celebrity boxing at this point. Now, Jake Paul, this is Jake Paul, it's not Logan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jake Paul, he's the one that's like more of an actual boxer.
Right.
Yeah, so in this case, but obviously he wouldn't be, even if he was he had the skill level of an amateur boxer, he wouldn't be getting this money if he wasn't a YouTube star or whatever. So it's just where we at as far as the state of boxing at this point.
Like the thing that he kept telling Tyron Woodley, who he's facing tonight before we put this out and stuff. Woodley, like, he keeps telling him, this is your biggest payday. This is your big, like, so every time Woodley tries to downplay it, oh, this dude's a clown. He made it from YouTube. I'm a real fighter. I'm doing this for all the fighters. And then he's just like, okay, if this is no big deal, why is this your biggest payday? And he just keeps saying that. That's kind of like, it's crazy, bro. Like, but like Jake Paul making crazy money. Like Floyd Mayweather, this was one of his biggest paydays, going against Logan in that fake fight. So I don't know. It's just kind of crazy to see that. I don't know. See, like you said, that excitement, but
Think about
boxing
it
is
like
built off.
this.
Go ahead, Jelani.
But like, if Barack Obama decided, like, he woke up tomorrow and was like, I want to be a boxer, and he trained for like 3 months and got like the legal clearance or whatever to fight, he would get like the highest payday off just that one fight. Like, if he wanted 50 million, somebody would put up that 50 million because people would want to see Barack Obama fight. So that's people they basically just cheating the game at this point.
Hey, for sure. But I mean, but the thing is, like you said, Jake Paul can actually box. Like, if he couldn't box, if he couldn't fight, like Logan Paul, but he can, at least imitate a boxer. Jake Paul can actually box. So it's like, excuse me, I think that's the reason why it works with those brothers, the Paul brothers, is because they can actually fight. And I don't know. And then all the talk, like you said, around it. But you have some boxers that have that personality still. When you think about the 400 years to this day, and Broners and all those guys. Like, there's still a few boxers who still have, like, personality and stuff like that. But when you bring in a whole new audience of the YouTube kids and stuff like that, then I think that just adds to it.
Yeah, I mean, he's just the first because there's been plenty of people who have talked about doing this before, and because people would pay good money for almost any celebrity to see them box. It's just he's one of the ones who's actually willing to go step in that ring, and he's actually
well, I'll tell you. Well, this though, Mo, they had the TikToker versus YouTube fight night. Remember that a couple months ago?
Yeah.
I didn't care about any of those fights. I didn't know any of those people. Like, DDG fought. I knew DDG. I didn't know the dude he was fighting. And then then Blueface fought a couple weeks. I didn't watch that fight. I didn't care about that fight. I care about Jake Paul. Like, for some reason, like, I care. Like, so what's the difference between all the other celebrities, and what I'm saying?
Because he's fighting real opponents. You got to think, like, DDG, he fought a no-name person, like, I'm not going to say Buddy not no-name, but, like, I don't know who he is. And it's like Blueface, yet again, fought somebody who you don't know and then who you expected them to beat anyway. It's like Jake Paul really going against real fighters, and that's what's creating the excitement. I would say the Nate Robinson stuff, it wasn't even that big of a deal. It became a big deal once he knocked him out. And then that's when it was like,
because that fight we were really watching for Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson.
Exactly.
That's who fought, right? Roy Jones Jr. That's who he fought.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure.
Yeah. So I feel like that's the thing with Jake Paul. He's fighting real opponents, and I feel if people were to get in, some of these celebrities were to go ahead and fight either real opponents or to fight another celebrity. Like, I know they talked about, and I saw Whack 100 on No Jumper speak about this, just how Soulja Boy and Chris Brown were supposed to have a fight. That would have sold so much, like, because you want to see that, and if some of these rappers really just start stepping in the ring against some of their, maybe not your real ops, but some people you kind of got a little beef with.
Which y'all watch,
like,
Drake Kanye, y'all watching it. Kanye doing the push-ups, he doing the curls on stage. Drake started doing the fitness thing a couple years ago. Are y'all watching it?
I will watch it, but I mean, I ain't gonna be excited about it. I don't know. Like Kanye don't. Neither Kanye or Drake just give me that energy like they finna just be out there throwing hands, you know? Like I don't feel like I'm gonna see good form, technique, or nothing. I'm just see a bunch of I don't know. I just feel like it's gonna be extra. Kanye gonna come out in a whole mask, be like it's gonna be a whole thing, bro.
I don't think Kanye has an athletic bone in his body. I think all of Kanye talent, as far as what God gave him, went to the music and fashion. That's where his bones reside in or whatever. But yeah, I think you underestimated Aubrey, bro. I feel like Aubrey. I feel like ever since like the Meek Mill beef, like he hired a boxing trainer. He'd be in the crib
Mhm.
because he tore his ACL playing basketball, so he be trying to live out his little like sports fantasies.
He
Or
pushed
whatever,
back
you know what I
certified
mean?
lover boy a year for that, man.
Yeah, because he tore his ACL again, trying to be, in the crib Kobe.
Yeah, created his own league in the backyard and tore
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
Nah,
like
did
come
y'all
on.
and
see
was the
what
MVP of his own league.
hey, who tore that ACL, bro, in the NBA? And he put on the story, he was like, "We going through this journey to recovery together."
I don't even remember, bro.
It was some
I don't
player,
remember.
bro. He put it on his IG story, and he was like, "As we go on this road to recovery together, bro, like let's hang in there, stay strong." I think it was like Kevin Durant. It might have been like someone like that, but
I
Drake
remember
is
when
dang.
Gordon Hayward, when he messed up his ankle the first game with the Celtics. I think it was like Dwight Howard to post on Instagram, like God be with him now. Like, bro, he's still
Laurie
alive,
carry him
bro.
with the prayer hand emoji.
Yeah, with the prayer hands, like he's not. He didn't go to the upper room, bro.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But oh yeah, yeah. And then one more sports topic. This one Mo wanted to talk about, and it was Cam Newton. Cam Newton, obviously, it was 10 years ago, I think, to this year, or maybe 11 years ago, 2010, 2011. I think it was 2010 when he won the Heisman for Auburn and won the national championship at Auburn. 11
Yeah.
years later, a decade and some change later, and he is now on the ropes against a rookie quarterback in Mac Jones, for the starting position in New England. Just how much do you guys think Cam has in the tank? I think this goes back to a deeper discussion, but I want to hear you guys' initial thoughts first.
I think he can still have a good season this season. It's just a matter of obviously he's a dual threat quarterback, so you would have to scheme around what his talents are. But can he be like a 4,000-yard passer anymore? No, I don't think that. You know what I mean? But like I said, if he has the right scheme, and it's just a matter of the situation with them having a rookie quarterback, especially now, those days of those rookie quarterbacks sitting on the bench for like 2 or 3 years, they don't really happen anymore. So if Bill, if he just wants to get him experience for the sake of getting experience, he might rush him out there. But I still think Cam can have a good season. You know what I mean?
I, I definitely feel he's in position to possibly have a good season. It's just I don't know, like if he can just produce the way he used to. I feel he can be a solid quarterback, but I don't even know if he's a playoff quarterback. Like from what I saw last year. But I will say, and then the preseason hasn't been the best for him. But I will say last year, some of his like production reduced after he got COVID. So, I will give him that. But it's just from what I've been seeing, like I think he went like 12 weeks without throwing a passing touchdown. Like it was something crazy. Like the receivers on that team, mind you, he don't really have no threats. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, man, like they not getting the opportunities ain't there on either side, it seems, because they're not getting open and he's not really delivering the ball the way it needs to be. So, but I hope he can still recover, man. But it's just crazy to see, especially with Jameis now seem like he's about to hit his stride. I feel now he got his LASIK surgery. I mean, Cam is a little bit older, but I think I want to see him succeed, but I don't know, man. After this season, I don't know who would want him as a starting quarterback if he can't.
Gonna wait for my Wi-Fi to catch back up. Oh, okay. My Wi-Fi's back. All right,
Yeah,
cool. You said, but you don't know if he can, and then it cut off.
Oh, I don't know if he can produce, to the same level that he was, years prior. Because it's just been for a good minute now. I'm like watching him. He has the balls don't be accurate. It he makes things work, but it's just like it's not looking. It doesn't really look good, you know. Like I remember seeing him play in person, like back in the closing, like I don't know, it was 2016, I believe, because it was like the final season of the Georgia Dome, and yeah,
yeah.
he throwing it all the way in out of bounds, like past on wide open people just getting missed. It was crazy, but at the same time he has been dealing with injuries. So I just hope he can get back. But what you feel, Rashad?
Week 16, by the way, last year, I looked it up after Mo gave that great stat, and it was he threw 34 passing yards against, I think the Buffalo Bills, and it was the fewest yards by a Patriots starting quarterback since 1993, when Scott Secules had 13 passing yards in Week 10, also at home against the Bills. That was Bill Parcells' first season as Patriots head coach. Scott threw 13 passing yards. What the heck? But anyways, I think that the larger issue here is like now we have to see kind of after the fact of the chances that black quarterbacks get versus the the alternative or whatever at the end of their career. Like, how long does Cam stay in the league as a backup? How long does he get to be a vet? How long does he get the opportunity to be Matt Schaub? Does he get the opportunity to be, you can name the quarterbacks going down the league, down the list of just being a veteran quarterback who was once a long time starter, had a good career, and just wants to be a mentor and still play football and still practice with the team and everything like that, still be ready. Will Cam Newton get that benefit of the doubt, or will he just kind of be pushed out like Robert Griffin III? Is he going to get chance after chance after chance like Josh Rosen, or is he, going to be, you guys know, the quarterback, Colin Kaepernick? So I don't know, man. I think that's the interesting thing that I'm looking at here. It's the big picture of how our team's going to treat Cam Newton once he's no longer a starter, which it looks like he's headed to this year, with them just kind of grooming Mac Jones for the moment. Whenever he's put in as a starter, as a permanent starter and the starter of the future for the Patriots, is Cam Newton going to get another chance? Is he going to get a chance just to be a backup quarterback and hold a clipboard until he wants to retire? So that's the thing I'm looking at. Are there any other closing thoughts on Cam before we get into all this music stuff?
I think he'll retire before he just sits on the bench. I don't think he's just trying to sit up here and be like, remember, like Charlie Batch, or like one of those career backups. It's just, you know what I mean?
Right.
Going from winning a Heisman and being a number one pick to just, he'll definitely retire. At least me personally, I think he will before he just, because I don't know if another team's going to take a chance on him after this year. So, it's really playing for his career right now.
But therefore, I just hope that I feel, because he's 33?
I think he's like 32.
Yeah, like he's still super young in comparison, And I think that's the thing that's so disappointing, because he's so young. And I'm like, literally, if you just get your arm accuracy together, like it would be a little bit better. But I don't know if it's in him at this point, because if we kind of would have seen it a little bit more up to this point, and maybe it's just the injuries, the wear and tear, because he's taking a lot of big hits. Like that season right after the Super Bowl, he took a lot of crazy hits. Like I think he only played like a few games that season because I think he got hurt.
Yeah, I just remember that game when they played Denver, like the year after it, when they was just like hitting him directly in the head, and they was not calling it. You gotta think, because he's so big. He's almost like when Shaq, like in the NBA, where he didn't get a lot of fouls called on him that he should have got because he was so big.
Right.
Same thing with Cam, like a lot of those hits that should have been 15-yard penalty if like Drew Brees or Brady got hit like that. Because this dude was the size of a linebacker, they just didn't throw the flag.
For real.
Cam's for sure a huge dude and stuff like that. And like you guys said, I think it's just gonna be. I don't know though, because last year I felt like he had, he kind of performed a little bit above my expectation of how he's gonna do with how long he waited to even get signed, and then like you said, until he caught the virus, which is he still gonna get the vaccine? We don't know, but with the virus, he didn't have the best end to the season, but he started off well. And so then they sit down and they ask him, and they're like, is this it for you? And he's like, I can't go out like that, bro. I can't go out like that. I'm like, well, I mean, that might be the best you could go out, because like if you're looking to go out any better, I don't know about it, buddy. So that's why I was like the backup thing. So if he retires like this and he goes out like that, when you could have went out like how you went out last year, I think it would have been a better scenario. But we shall see what the heck happens.
Right.
And all right. So here we go. I guess we could start off right here with Mr. Kung Fu Kenny, Mr. Ogo, whatever his name is now. He returned after a 4-year hiatus on Family Ties, the song by his cousin Baby Keem making noise, who was also on Donda, which we're going to talk about later. But I guess first impressions of Kendrick's verse.
I mean, his verse was it was fire to me. I saw it was a lot of Kendrick is like a polarizing artist. Like there's a lot of people that obviously, he sells a lot of records. There's a lot of people that like his music. I'm a fan of his, but it's definitely a crowd of people that don't think he's as good as what people might rate him. And it might just be like they get tired of people like hyping him up or whatever. But I definitely saw some people that wasn't feeling the verse like that. Even though I liked it a lot. I thought it was dope.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I just feel like, I've been taking the pandemic. I've been taking the
The dance moves, the shoulder movements was crazy. You gotta respect the shoulder movements.
That's right. The move right there, man. When I seen that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best verse I've ever heard. This is real hip hop, man."
The video was crazy fire. The video was
video was Baby Keem has some good videos, like, and they're like very, I don't know. It's just he just always like his videos remind me of a pimp, bro. Like he always just and we want to be respectful of all things that are legal in the United States, but I don't know. He just always looks cool in his music videos. I like his videos. Shout out to Normani as well. That was player.
Oh yeah, that was dope.
But go ahead, Mo.
Oh, I mean, I ain't really had too much on it for real. I mean, as I said, I thought it was a good song. I'm excited to see what he got coming as far as the album. But yeah, I thought it was just a good song, man. Like great video. It was, I don't know, kind of it was the standard. Like it's the standard that Kendrick has set for himself, and I feel like he lived up to it. It's like it's kind of in that same kind of realm of like All Right and all those other songs. So like I think All Right was a bigger song, but I'm just saying like in the sense of great video, great lyrics, just kind of he puts it all together. So I'm just excited to see where he kind of takes it from here. You guys think he gonna drop on? You think he finna drop next week with Drake? Because Kanye's out the way now. So I think that was kind of an issue. All three of them, somebody got to be third place. You can't be third place. So I think if we talking, who gonna be, who's the person, who is really the leader of this generation, like, or the person that has been the real leader of the generation, because they done had plenty of albums, go kind of head to head, but it's been never directly. And I feel if they go directly head to head, it's going to show like, all right, like I'm really him, you really almost him.
And guess who's left out of the conversation, Mo?
Who?
Jermaine Cole.
Yeah.
Jermaine drops, and it was a big hype. It was a big stink for about 2 days, and then it passed. And that's the thing that I keep thinking about all year. It's how J. Cole dropped. Everybody was hyped the night it dropped. And then it just kind of floated away. Tyler
Yeah.
drops, and Tyler makes sure that the album lives for at least a month and a half. J. Cole dropped. He joined the basketball league. He did Instagram Live for the first time in his life, and it floated away. He jumped in the Supreme Dream skit. It didn't matter. Floated away. Go ahead.
I was gonna say he doesn't like J. Cole didn't really have any. He got Pride as the devil, but other than that, it's just kind of like what songs can really even really hit the airwaves like that.
I thought 100 Mil was that song. I mean, I thought it could have been, but they didn't push it as a single yet. They've been pushing the little not the little baby song, the 21 Savage song, which just like shout out to David, this other David I was talking to a couple months ago. He said that was pretty much just like a lot. It was just like a lot or whatever, remix and whatnot, a lot part 2. But yeah, I thought the 100 Mil they could have pushed that.
What are you saying, Jelani?
No, it sounds like the same song format has a lot. But like Cole at this point for me, you got like a lot of these rappers that we still look at as being like younger rappers. Like you got to think like Good Kid, Mad City turns 10 next year. Like Cole's first album is 10 this year. Like you guys are veterans in the game at this point. So it's not to say that they like washed up or nothing like that, but it's just like I'm not like necessarily like expecting you to have the same level of popularity and be selling the same. Like everybody can't be. Drake and Kendrick are kind of like anomalies, you know what I mean? Not to say that J. Cole can't rap as well as them, but just
Cole's been out longer than Kendrick.
Yeah. Cole's first album came out 2011. Good.
Warm up was 08 though. Warm up was 08. He was popping in 09.
I mean, Kendrick was still rapping back then. He was relatively popping in 09. Like if you knew, you knew. Like,
no, Kendrick was not in the South. Not in the South.
No. I'm saying Cole was relatively popping in 09. That's what I'm saying. Like he wasn't saying Cole was popping. He was on the internet. Like he had like a blog presence, but I feel like he didn't really like. He got on Jay-Z Star Is Born that came out like December 2009.
Yeah, a lot of people say that was his come out party. But I don't know. In the Morning was a pretty popular song.
Can we talk about that song? Is like very gross in hindsight, like Drake rapping about his like horses and like I don't know where that song really.
The song sounds like it just reminds, like I can smell the morning breath on the song, like with their voices, because they like have the graspy like I just woke up voice, and every time I hear it, I just smell like morning breath. I don't know.
I just don't like when like two male rappers rap about sex on the same song. Like it just makes me uncomfortable. Like both like passionately, speaking in your poetry voices is kind of gross to me.
Right.
When was Who Dat? Was Who Dat 09?
2010.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So I guess The Star Is Born. It's like
that was like late 2009.
Okay, but In the Morning, like Friday Night Lights, that was 2010. I thought that was 09.
That was like 2009.
Yeah, that was 09. Right?
One of them was 20 like early. Which came out? The Warm Up came out before.
So the Warm Up came out 08, and then it was Friday Night Lights, the mixtape, the blue cover, and then it was Friday Night Lights, the album, or whatever the heck the album is called. And that was the one with
Sideline Story was the album. No, it was one. It was no. It was. I feel like it was one in between then. That I'm like, it was the cover. It was the one that had him on the cover with the basketball, right? It was that one.
That's Warm Up.
That wasn't 2008 though.
Nah, it's the Come Up, the Warm Up, then Friday Night Lights.
The Come Up,
but the Come Up, like I was not listening. I did not know who Cole was.
I'm saying I feel like the Warm Up was like 2009, and then
that was 08.
Bro, that was not 08, bro.
How about we just look it up?
I was saying, yeah, we can look this up. Like, because that was definitely not 08. Hold on.
Let's see.
09. I thought it was 08. My whole life, I thought it was 08. My whole life, I thought it was 08, bro. It was 09.
Because that was June 2009. And
that's kind of late. I thought he was
Friday Night Lights is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, Friday Night Lights, that was
that was 2010.
In the 2010. Because I remember mostly listening to that in like 2011. That's why. Okay, so yeah.
So Cole
Yeah.
really popped in 2010. Because when the warm up dropped, I didn't know of the warm up when it first dropped. But
Yeah,
like
that's
I
when
had a
I
friend
first
from
started to.
North Carolina. He always talked about, you gotta listen to this J. Cole dude, J. Cole dude.
That's when I started listening to him, like late 2010, early 2011. But for a while, like I said, he was doing the same numbers as like he was like all them albums did over like 400,000 first week.
I
So
mean,
it's not a
but
thing.
I didn't know who Kendrick was around that time. I mean, to bring it full circle to the original point, I didn't know who Kendrick was around that time.
I knew Kendrick. First time I remember hearing Kendrick was probably High Power. That was like 2011, and then he was on. I feel like the Kendrick one really like I feel like what put him out there for real was the interlude on Take Care, and then that's when I felt like he really became like a national star or whatever.
My introduction to Kendrick was when it was Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg brought him on stage, and they crowned him the new king of the West Coast. I saw it on World Star, and I was like, what? Who is Kendrick Lamar? I was like, bro, y'all just be giving it up, and like, and then I went and listened to the music. I was like, oh, and the first song I heard from him was Rigor Mortis, and then I was like, oh, bro, this man different. I get it.
But also at the same time is Tyler. You got to mention Tyler in there too. Tyler's got to be mentioned in there.
I mean, he's like a Duke of the West Coast, bro. He not no king of the West Coast.
No. I'm talking about as far as, we talking about people who 09 and they still relevant. Yeah. I jump back to that. Because Jelani was saying everybody's not Drake. And I was like, there's a couple other guys who like started around that time and are still here.
No, Tyler definitely he has like a more unique career because he was so young. Like Drake was young too, but he was more like he was like in his early 20s or whatever. Like Tyler was 18, 19.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's weird. He got like the same situation as Chief Keef, where like Chief Keef is a veteran in hip hop at this point.
Yeah, he's a legacy act now.
At 26 years old, which is crazy to think about.
He just turned 26. Happy belated, Chief Keef.
Yeah. Hey, I saw a thing online talking about Lil Durk versus Chief Keef in the verses. Who would win?
I mean, Chief Keef for me, but Lil Durk, you got to put respect on him too. Like he was out around that same time. It's been
Nah. Durk was like 14, bro. 13.
Nah,
14.
This Ain't What You Want came out like 2013.
Yeah, they about the same age.
And he had like local hits in Chicago too. That was like popping around that time.
But
like
Keef popped around 2012.
Keef was like late 2011, early 2012.
That's when this Ain't What You Want came out.
I was like Durk was always starting to happen around the same time. Like Durk, no, This Ain't What You Want came out 2013. I'm saying Durk still had like Durk, Fredo, Reese, all them guys still had hits in like 2012 that was popular on the drill scene. Like it wasn't just Chief Keef around that time.
Yeah, they were more into the streets. So it was like it took them a little minute to get out.
Keith was just like the rock star of the movement, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He was the face of it. He's the one that got all the think pieces and pastors like devoting entire sermons to him and stuff like that. But yeah. When you think about, I guess, those guys who like you were saying, who have been here around a decade, how many would you say? Would you say like 5? Or is it a list of 5 and lower? Like you say Drake?
If we're talking about from the blog era, because I'm probably trying to go back. It's obviously still rapping from the 90s and stuff like that that's rapping, but we're talking about
right. Who's still relevant?
Contemporary artists.
I
guess you could say Ye. Drake.
I say Ye. Wiz.
No, Drake. Wiz is definitely not what he used to be, bro.
He still makes pop hits.
Yeah, but he still make good music though.
But when was the last one?
Pop hits? I'm sure he has some songs.
We Them Boys?
No, bro.
He hasn't had again.
That was like 7 years ago, bro.
See you again?
That was like 2017.
Okay.
When was the last one? That's all I want. Let me know. Because Soulja Boy is still dropping hits. Rick and Morty. Rick.
That She Make It Clap song was a hit.
Rick. That's not no real hit, bro.
Hey, it's a hit in this era.
It's a hit. Rick and Morty is a hit, bro. She Make It Clap. That's a hit.
I didn't even know that was him for like 6 months.
Soulja Boy still making hits, bro.
That was it.
Wiz, yeah, exactly. When's the last hit that Wiz has had? So you can't say that because if you count Wiz, you got to say Big Sean. And then at that point, we just showing our
So
age.
are we saying Big Sean is not relevant at this point? Like, what are we saying? Like, we
No,
got
no, I'm
like
saying
watch.
like top of the top. Like you know
Oh,
how Drake
okay,
is like
okay.
Drake is like when Drake dropped, people pay attention. When Kanye
Right.
dropped, people pay attention. When Cole dropped, people pay attention. I'm saying like people like that, bro.
Okay, yeah, just Drake, Kanye, Kendrick, Tyler. That might
Cole.
if we talking about like 10 plus years.
People still excited for
Cole. You're right, Cole. That's really
it.
That's really it. As far as people that's gonna really do numbers, that's been in the game. So actually, you know what? If we want to be technical, Young Thug has been in the game like 10 years at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, close
He
to it.
he does numbers.
Yeah,
when he comes out.
He came out like around like 2011-ish.
Yeah, 2011, 2012.
That junk is crazy. Like he did that on the sly. And Lil Yachty is another one. Lil Yachty is like, you know, he's not 10 years yet, but he was someone, I was talking to Mo about this. I did not expect Lil Yachty to be here in 5 years. I was like, that kid, he's, you know, with the era, he's a Lil Peep. I mean, RP Lil Peep. He's, what's the dude name? Lil Pump. He Lil Pump, all them kids that are here today and what happened to them tomorrow. But shout out Yachty for sure.
I mean, I think for Yachty, he had the right camp around him. You know, with him being part of QC, they wasn't going to let him to go to the wayside. And then two, it was kind of like you got so many people that can really rap around you. You got to think like people like Lil Pump, you know, Ski Mask, you know, all these other dudes. You ain't got nobody who's really in there spitting no bars next to you. So is it kind of like, and they're not giving you looks next to nobody spitting no real bars next to you.
I mean,
so
but can you throw Ski Mask in that you know, because Ski Mask can actually rap, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's like a swag rap, like the content, but like, I think anybody who has a flow like Ski Mask, he kind of needs to be respected as a rapper. I think it's different than Lil Pump.
I will have to hear something.
You're talking about Gucci Gang versus like that's some talent, bro. I don't care what you read, like that's talent, bro, in my opinion.
I feel you. I mean, as I said, maybe I had to just hear some songs because from what I've heard, I'm like, he's straight, you know? Like, I mean, he ain't bad. I ain't gonna like, you know, he got some songs, I guess. I haven't heard him, but, you know, I don't know.
Hey, we gotta add Migos to that list too.
Well, yeah, Migos, they get their respect. They get more than enough of their flowers. Future, I forgot Future.
Oh yeah, we bugging Future.
But I don't know. But Future, I don't know though. I'll say this. It's a bit of a hot take. Future was so hot in 2015, 2016, where he was the biggest art. Like he was arguably bigger than Drake 2015, 2016. Future was so big 5 years ago. Yeah. And Future was the biggest artist. That people won't say that looking back at it, but Future was a bigger artist at the time. Like now when he drops, it's kind of like he's hot, but the fact that he isn't 2016, 2015 hot, it's kind of quiet. It's kind of quiet.
I just think he put out so much music, man. Like that's really he's one of my favorite rappers of all time, honestly. But it's just like I feel like I'm the same way with him that I'm with Kanye, where it's like, bro, you gave me so much great music already. I don't need any more out of you. Like if you make music and it's not what like up to your old music is, it's not that disappointing for me because I still got that old music. So I really just need like I think I might have like 2 or 3 songs off of what was the last album called, like High Off Life or something like that.
Yeah.
For Future. Yeah, I got like 2 or 3 songs off that I keep in rotation. But that's all I need per album now. Like I'm not looking for no more Dirty Sprite 2s or 56 Nights or anything more like that. If you give me one, cool. But if I don't get that, it's not that big of a deal for me. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you for sure. No, I think that's the way that everybody feels. That's why Kanye gets a pass. But all right, so I guess sliding into that a little bit, where would you put Donda? Like me, I would say best since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Oh,
that's a hot take. That's a hot take. I'm saying I'm slamming it. You could clip that, put that on Twitter. I don't care. It's the best since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
I would say personally, like I haven't finished the entire album yet, so maybe my opinion will change as I go through the album. But from what I've heard, being halfway through, like personally, The Life of Pablo, I'll still put that up there.
Oh,
Like
because
I
Pablo in the middle of it is skippable, in my opinion. The middle of it, like it starts off, oh, this is the best. Oh, this is some news. Oh, and then you get in the middle and you're like, huh? And then it's like a couple is like, okay, I could skip this. I could skip this. With this one, this is a solid project. It's good songs all the way through. So that's why I'm putting this over Pablo. And then y'all already know how I feel about Yeezus. Yeezus, most influential album of the generation for sure. It was trash. I don't care. But yeah,
Oh,
continue.
goodness. Jeez. No, this album is it's only two albums I'm putting this over is Jesus is King and Yay. Everything else is I'm putting it over this. I'm putting Yeezus over this. I'm definitely putting Pablo over this. I got Yeezus over Pablo actually, to be honest with you. But yeah, this is not it's cool. Like there's some standout songs when you listen to it that like jump out for me. You know what I mean? Like I like the Off the Grid song. There's a couple of songs that I liked. I'm trying to think. It's the one with Young Thug on there that I liked. It's a few, but it's just not like it's just the soul just ain't there. It just ain't got the same. It don't got the same passion behind it, like the attention to detail. You know what I mean?
right.
Also, he's not cussing while he's doing this, y'all. I think like people have to kind of realize that. Like, I don't know if you realizing or not, he's not cussing. Like,
No.
I think that to me that give him bonus points. But go ahead.
Now I peeped like and I like, you know, I do think it dope how he has all the artists on there and the most that they say is, you know, the N-word. And he even blurts that out. But I kind of agree with Jelani. It just don't have the same feel. It don't have the same like soul in it. Like as I said, The Life of Pablo, when I listened to that, like I felt that album personally. You know, it's just like when I listened through it, I was like, okay, this, and maybe it was something fresh, it was something new of him really kind of starting the Jesus wave. But I felt like it felt more authentic. It didn't feel like I'm trying to be this, you know, it just felt like this was his version. This is the messages that he really felt like he got from Jesus. Now it feels like he's just trying to be a patron saint. You know, it's like he trying to go down 100 years from now. They call me Saint Ye. You know, like that's the type of time he's on. As opposed to when I heard The Life of Pablo, it felt like it was just this is my connection with God, and this is how I want to express it, as opposed to me trying to be bigger than life. But you know, like he trying to be the next Messiah, and I feel through his music in a sense, you know.
Well, Pablo really wasn't like he said it was a gospel, but it really wasn't like none of that was really gospel. Like none of that was really God. Like other than the fact he had Kirk Franklin talking at the end of it, that was it. But and then Chance's verse, but none of that was nothing was like God like about that album. Anyways, but I really like the Sunday Service album that dropped that Christmas of Jesus is King. I really like that album. That was a really good album in my opinion. It was good music because I really like the whole Sunday Service wave. Man, that was really dope. Like he did choir in a way that I never heard choirs. And I don't know, I just thought that was really good music. Really good music from that era. And to put it in an album was really good. And it was something that nobody really talked about, I guess, because Kanye wasn't on every song just, you know, singing or rapping. But I count that too. And I think that was better than Jesus is King. That was better than Ye. I'll probably put Ye at the bottom, Jesus is King above that, Sunday Service album above that. And then I'll probably put Yeezus. And then I'll probably put this album. No, I'll put Yeezus, Pablo, and then this album, and then 808, and then all the classics after that. But yeah, I just did that all out. But yeah, man, that's how I feel about Donda, man. I like it. It's a good thing. And then but like Jelani said, the reason why I brought this up is because, you know, when someone makes your life, you know what I'm saying? When someone like gives you a lifetime of tracks, he gives you a soundtrack to your life. You're good with anything else they give you. Like if you gave me this song, if you gave me 30 hours, like as a retired, like I look at Kanye as retired now. If you give me 30 hours when you're retired, I could take that. You know what I'm saying? That's just cherry on the cake, icing on the cake. But I guess I don't know. I don't know. Going back to that, is there anything else of how you guys feel about retired rappers? Someone like a Jay-Z. Jay-Z giving me 444. I love that. That's my favorite Jay-Z album, and he was retired doing that. So how you guys feel about like retired rappers and giving you extra?
I mean, we like as rap is still like a relatively young genre. So like hip hop itself is probably like 50 years old at this point compared to like rock and roll, which would be like maybe like 80 years old or something like that, maybe older than that. So we just now getting to the point where you could have a 44-year-old rapper still be like a mainstream force, you know what I'm saying, and like influential to young kids, you know what I mean? So um like think about if there was a time where we looked at rappers like being in their 30s as being old, you know what I mean? And now, like I said, we got Kanye, he in his 40s, Jay-Z is in his 40s. Excuse me, Jay-Z's in his 50s now. Yeah, Jay-Z's like 51, I think. Yeah. Pusha T is in his
Jay-Z, bro,
40s.
you old, bro.
2 Chainz is in his 40s. You know what I mean? It's plenty of rappers that's Rick Ross. It's plenty of rappers that's in their 40s that's still making hits. Yo Gotti is in like his 40s. You know what I mean? So it's just
Yo,
this is a new
Gotti in his
era.
40s?
Even Gucci in his 40s
Yeah.
too. Yeah, Yo Gotti in his 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Juicy
Jay-Z is
J, like he
51.
under 50.
Bro, this is wild. I'm like learning this in real time. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You've been on for a minute.
Yeah.
Boosie in his 40s too. Like these dudes is
2
not
Chainz, 40
damn near 40.
something.
Yeah, Wayne about to be 40. So it's just I say that to say that we're gonna have more
Wayne and
rappers.
Boosie look every bit of 40 though.
Yeah, they live hard lives. Yeah. But I'm just saying that to say that we're entering an era where I don't even know how we got to this point, but we're entering an era where we're gonna have more rappers that are in their 40s and 50s doing numbers, you know what I mean?
Right. Because I feel like it's, I don't know. Hip hop is kind of, everybody was saying it's a young man's game, but I feel like it's timeless. If you got something that's relatable and people can connect to, it's going to be able to constantly work. You don't have, like with rock and roll, it was an image that went behind it of being the rock star lifestyle. When you're 50 years old, you could keep going hard, but it's not going to be the same. And then as hard you're going, it's like, and I think that's the other thing with hip hop. There's so many people like Jadakiss, Jadakiss and Styles P. The reason that they're even just so in tune and so fit is because they're mentally and physically in shape, as opposed
Shout
to,
out to the juice bar.
Exactly. I feel like, there's a lot of other genres that, especially like, we were talking about rock and roll, they don't care nothing about being mentally and physically in shape, like they out here wilding. So, and I think that's the thing with hip hop. I feel it's cool to be grown, because we want to hear that. That's what hip hop is about, the realness, the real stories, the real life situations, It's not, we don't want to see you, and I think that's just kind of the disconnect with certain artists. If you don't grow up and really mature with your music, your fan base isn't going to be able to grow with you.
In 5 years, you're gonna be on Love and Hip Hop, So
Right.
that's really just how.
Oh man, it's a nasty outcome. It's hard to bounce back from that.
I like the album. I still like KOD. I was playing it leading up to off season to just get me hyped for Cole and everything like that. I was like, this was a decent album. They had a couple of joints on it.
It was cool. I don't like. I'll give my opinion on J. Cole before. Like I was a real huge fan in high school, and then just gradually as I got older, I just it's still cool. It's just not as profound to me as it used to be.
Oh yeah, for sure not. Like before I was in college, J. Cole was like a smart dude, and then now it's like he's just saying basic stuff, and people are like gassing it as smart. But I don't know. Twitter when Twitter jumped on it and they caught on to, then it was like, okay, the gig is up. And then he had the whole No Name thing where he actually said, "Oh, that's what I wanted to get to, Mo. You almost got away. Mo. I got to get you now. Back to this Kendrick Family Ties verse. he heard Mo talking on the podcast and he addressed him. He addressed him. He said,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not with the overnight activists. I've been ducking all of the overnight activism. I'm Kung Fu Kenny. The overnight activists, they were in the streets playing all right. They chanting all right. I made that song. What do I need to say to the overnight activists just to jump on the wave? I don't need to. I'm Kung Fu Kenny. And then another thing, he said PG Lane. He mentioned PG Lane and like the first, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He mentioned it in the 8th line of his verse, and he had the PG Lane sign flag waving in the background. He's really pushing this PG Lane thing. He getting out of TDE. I'm starting PG Lane is the move. PG Lane the movement. Hop on with Kung Fu Kenny. I don't do none of that overnight activism. Mo, when you heard that, when you heard him respond to you, what you said on this podcast, what was your reaction?
I mean, I feel him. I guess like it doesn't say like I didn't ask for more music to be played. I just think in a sense, I don't know. Too often we have people who I don't know. It's like you can't be wanting to be the face of something or be a leader in something, and then like I don't know, when the moment comes, it kind of like, well, I already said everything, so y'all got it. And I feel like
But that's just how I feel about. I feel like if you gave me a manual, right, and you said, "Here's the manual," and then the time came for you to use the manual, what I need to be there to be like, "Hey, y'all, don't forget to pick up my manual from 5 years ago." You got the manual. I dropped it off.
nah, but that's the thing. I mean, what I'm saying is, I'm talking about with the real change. It's like you trying to get behind closed doors to work with people, to work with, because that's the issue. Is like we don't have anybody. We have, as I said, like as I mentioned before, we have Tamika Mallory and like Sean King and people like that. But it's just like they're not really able to even get next to the politicians for real a lot of the times because it's just like they don't have the same level of respect. And then that's why I feel like a person like, as I said, with like Kendrick or Cole and stuff, and I understand the pressure can be it's a lot, but at the same time I think just the conversation, to be able to continue to help push the conversations forward. It's like, yeah, I told you through a song what can be done. But now when it's time to really make these actions to push them forward, it's kind of like, I already gave you the music, so y'all got it. And it's kind of like, all right, I guess that's the case. Then it is what it is. So, but I just think it's like, if you're going to, as you say, you're not an overnight activist. You just a regular activist, right? So why is it? But if you saying you already gave us stuff, then you're a part-time activist. So if that's the case,
Mo fires
you
back
know,
at Kenny. Kendrick, you got to respond on the album, my mans.
yeah. I mean, I don't have nothing against Kendrick. Like I enjoy his music and everything, but it's just like that's all I was saying. Is you're kind of like I get you saying like, yeah, like that's a good way, everybody gonna look at like, yeah, you're right, all these other people were overnight activists, blah blah. He has been here, but it's just like you've been here, but then you wasn't here like when I don't know, I ain't gonna say we needed him, but I mean it's just like it would have been a good help. It would have been a good like a good voice to be heard. Because I feel like it was just so many voices going everywhere. And it's just kind of like that's where I feel we're lacking a centralized voice to bring it all together. And I don't know if he could have been that person. So, I mean, and maybe he understood that maybe he just would have been another voice that's going in another direction. So, I ain't going to fault him for that. And but that's just kind of how I feel about it.
I look at it like this. I look at it like last summer, the Black community and humanity, but the Black community, because it's our struggle, was grieving. And I think anytime with grief, immediately, what I'm saying, everybody's going to be there, right? For the family, for the mom. But the times where the people really need the help is a couple months later. you know, when everything is calmed down, everything is going back to normal, everybody's going back to their normal lives. That's when the people need it, because everybody around them, the world is what it always has been. And you're still dealing with the fact that your daughter's gone, your son is gone, you know what I'm saying? Your whoever, insert loved one's name here, is gone. And that's when people really need someone to check in on them. That's when people really need the help, is when everybody's not there. When everybody's there, it's great. You know, we'll take all the donations. You're supporting Black businesses. You're supporting. We appreciate it. What really matters, I feel like, is when all the noise and the hype dies down. So a year later, I think this is the most important time. It's been a year and some change since it was a cool thing to, you know, support Black people and stuff like that. I think this is now the time to really support Black people, to really help Black, you know, to really try to make change and stuff like that. Is when everybody is kind of forgotten about it and going back to their regular day to day.
I feel you. I mean, I think it would also, especially when you talk about supporting Black businesses and whatnot, I think it would have also been dope for him to, like, in the midst of when everybody is trying to support Black business, because, you know, you can come out and say, like, support Black business now, but it's like it don't have the same energy as it had last year. And it's just like during that time, I feel like that's another thing. You can come out just how with Beyonce wearing the Telfair. You know, it's like if you really want to help put the economic value back into Black people, then you know that's where you could come out and like, hey, these are a list of brands that I'm only rocking with. I'm only, you know, X, Y, and Z, and that's the thing. It wasn't like, you know, and that's why I was saying with just especially with some of the centralization of like the messaging could have came in that way of like, you know, maybe a group of people just talking about these are the brands that we only support, you know, but stuff like that. But that's still thinking best case scenario, you know. So like, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I think that is a good point. I think it is for him to come out when it is kind of going to the back of people's mind, for him to kind of help, you know, help bring certain things back to the forefront. Maybe not the whole everything, but bring back certain things to help people through some of the process. There's nothing wrong with that, and I do agree with that. We'll have to see how the album is, but I still think, as I said, like it just would have been good to have certain messaging in the heat of the moment.
I'm not a trending topic. I'm a prophet. Speak on it, Kendrick. Talk to Mo. Talk to Mo. Come on, man. I've been ducking the overnight activist yet. I'm not a trending topic. I'm a prophet. I answer to Megatron and Gabe. And then now he just talks about some random stuff. But oh, go ahead, Mo.
I'm supposed to suffice like him helping me through the Black plight is just giving me a good album. Like that. And I'm just like, that's, you know, is it kind of like, as you say, he's a prophet, so it's kind of like,
so you on No Name side.
I mean, I ain't gonna say I'm on No Name side.
I'm with No Name. No Name made some good points, because she like you became a millionaire, you know, you became Sean White. You became a millionaire. You got these fancy houses and cars because you're rapping about this. So now the time is your time to show about this. I get that on that side of things. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
So I'm with No Name. I'm with No Name too. But I also see the other side of it of, if I gave you this, then what the heck can I say now? Is it any different? And then should I say it just because it's trending and everybody else is doing it? That seems kind of weak and following just the wave.
What you feel about your line?
I don't think Kendrick, I don't know if he ever really wanted the title of being like an activist or a public leader or like a Black savior or anything like that. I think he honestly was
then
just...
he shouldn't have put up To Pimp a Butterfly, because the whole thing is I'm black. That's the whole album.
But he didn't say on that album, I want to be the next Martin Luther King or anything like that. He literally just made an album about his public thoughts or whatever, about what his thoughts on taxes and like the Black prison system and things like that. Like he was just commenting, just expressing himself, making art about these topics or whatever that might be deemed to be political topics or points of activism, you know what I mean, racism, things like that. But I don't think he ever like wanted the responsibility of. I think he's too private of a person for that, to have y'all like following him at rallies and things like that. You know what I mean? I think he just chooses to. I'm gonna live in my little private bubble, and then I'm gonna pop out and speak my thoughts when, you know what I mean, when I feel like it, and then I'm going back to being a recluse. You know what I mean?
Right.
I hear it. I respect it. I respect it. And then also Mo had another topic that he wanted to bring up about women being submissive. So I'll hand it off to you, Mo.
Oh yeah. So I saw on Instagram earlier this week, it was about a woman saying how it's not natural for a woman to be submissive. That's why it's not in her. And this is what it said. It's not natural for a woman to be submissive. That's why you have to, a lot of times, men are sitting here trying to tell women they need to be submissive. And she'll talk about how if something is natural, it will just, it's something that will come second nature. It's just kind of like the women will know, like, I'm just supposed to be submissive in these situations and whatnot. And she's just talking about how, like, it shouldn't be that way. It should be, you know, equal partnership. And so, and that's one of the topics that a lot of these men, I don't even know what they can be called, like activists or men, not feminism, but menism, like like YouTube pages and whatnot. They speak about women being submissive and how modern women aren't submissive and how traditional women and all the different stuff. And so I just wanted to see, how do y'all feel about that? Do y'all feel like a woman should be submissive to a man when in a relationship, or should it be an equal partnership? Should there even be pants being worn in a relationship? Like stuff like that. So how you feel about it?
I think every relationship has its own like unique roles and how it works and things like that. You know, it's just all a matter of your circumstances of whatever you are, like who makes more money, things like that. All this stuff like plays a factor in a relationship. But I just think I just don't like that word. It's just submissive.
Yeah.
Everybody likes what they like. You know what I mean? But it's just, do you like your partner enough to respect them and like help, like it? Let's say if y'all have a kid together, somebody works overnights, like just little stuff like help watch the kid or whatever, or like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I just don't like that word submissive, where because it always makes me feel like, well, I'm entitled just because I'm a man. I think we're past the cussing point at this point, so I can say this. I got a dick in my pants, so you have to now listen to what I say. It was like, bro, if you don't have something that makes her feel secure or a future going for you or anything like that, you can't really expect a woman to want to just follow your every word. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's what a lot of those pages teach, is like, as a man, to get a woman to be submissive, you need to be on your purpose and you need to be high value. You need to work yourself to be high value. I think that's a thing that a lot of people miss in these things when they're criticizing all these YouTube pages. And there's a big beef going on right now on YouTube with I don't know their names, like Abba and Peach and like Fit Fitness or something like
Abba
that.
and preach.
Abba and Preach. And who's the other dude? Fit
Uh,
Fitness?
fresh and fit.
Fresh and Fit. Fresh and Fit. So it's a big beef going on between them. Excuse me. But with Kevin Samuels and this entire movement that is going viral and stuff like that, the clips that people are seeing, it's not the whole message. Like, people are just seeing, like, people will clip like, a woman got to make me a sandwich, like, and like they run with it and they're like, these dudes are incels and who hurt you, and they run with it. And it's like, you got to watch the full thing to get it. It's like they get on men, and they're like, men, you men aren't doing this, you aren't doing this, and this is why. Oh man, like ABC. But anyways, like Jelani said, I think it goes back to, it's a case by case basis of relationships. But I think generally speaking, a lot of women, whether they admit it or not, they are naturally just kind of more submissive, because it's like, they want, they'll look at you, something small, like, where are we going to eat? They want you to tell them where they're going to eat. A lot of women, they want you to make the plans for the date. Like, they want you to know, what are we doing now? Where are you taking me now? Where are we going now? and who's, like they want you to have the entire thing planned out. They want to pretty much just exist. So it's like that's a form of submission. They want you. I like my man to lead. I like aggressive men. Like step up. Be, if someone stepped up to me, I want you to step in. Like that's being, you know what I'm saying? That's being submissive and letting your man lead. Like I think a lot of women want to be led, whether or not they admit it or not. Through their desires, it's just kind of the basis of it. And you can't speak for everybody because I hate generalizations of like an entire species, but yeah, I think for the most part, a lot of them they do want to be submissive. Go ahead, Mo.
Nah, and I feel like, and I think that is a good point. I feel a lot of them do. It's just like, and it goes back to your point of, I feel a lot of people don't really get the messaging within these, the different videos and whatnot that they hear, because these men just think that they think they're already high value, and it's so they think I'm already doing X, Y, and Z, so the woman should just be submissive to me, when it's like, you, nah, it's kind of like you haven't really shown nothing for that. So, yeah, I think it's it's tough, because I think, as I said, these men, yeah, I think a woman should be, and I don't even think it should be necessarily be submissive. And as I said, like that word, I don't know who started using that word, because is that in the Bible? 'Cause I'm like, where'd y'all get this word?
Now, I don't know if submissive is in the Bible, but I do know
Yeah,
like the wife, like letting the man lead. That's a biblical principle and stuff like that. But like
yeah,
submissive, it reminds me too much of like like my black bone like twitches when I hear it because it just reminds me of slavery.
yeah, for real. It's just kind of like I'm in control. Like I had a conversation with some of my friends one time. I was like just talking about what is wearing the pants in 2021. Because it's like, are we not both on our grind? If so, then it's kind of like, then you in a, that's just a useless relationship. If she's not bringing nothing to you but sex, like that's the issue. A lot of men, they just be like, well, she bring me sex, she cook, she clean. All right, if she taking care of everything around the house, then all right, I understand that. But at the same time, just sex, or she cook and clean every now and then, or she can get the takeout. She makes sure the maid comes in. That's not good enough. And I feel like men have to just kind of value themselves more. But
Yeah, I just think at the end of the day, like regardless of whatever you want to call it, you're both gonna have to make sacrifices for each other in a relationship in order for it to work. So it's the same way you might view your girl cooking for you. I guess if you want to, if you're the type of guy that likes using that word submissive, you want to view that as being submissive. You doing something for your girl or paying the bills in the house, that might be a form of submission the same way to her. You know what I'm saying? You're both gonna end up making sacrifices in one way or another.
Right, for sure. And it is biblical. Well, this is what the Bible says, one verse. This is Colossians 3:18. And it says, wives, submit yourselves to your husband as is fitting in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. Children, obey your parents for everything, for this pleases the Lord. Fathers, do not embitter your children, or they will be discouraged. Slaves, and then this is the part that the white man temper with in the Bible. Slaves, obey your earthly masters in everything, and do it, not only when their eyes is on you and to curry their favor, but with sincerity of heart and reverence for the Lord. Whatever you do, do it with all your heart. Oh, this is my verse. Whatever you do, work with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. Okay, so and that's when the original Bible come back. That 22, that's what the white man slipped in. But
real though, they were like you see right there, it say you hey, obey me, man. You don't want God to strike you.
so let me just put this part in real quick. But but the other parts and stuff like that, I mean, it was like, yeah, wives submit to your husbands, and it didn't say wives be submissive. It just said submit to your husbands, but it also said husbands be kind to your wives. So it was like it goes both ways. You can't tell half of the story. That goes back to when people clip these things because all content creators are going to say something outrageous, if you clip it to grab people's attention, because you got a billion content creators on the internet. So it's like when people clip these things and they throw it out and people just make judgments off of clips, it's just, I don't know, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. It's frustrating to me. Go ahead, Mo.
Real quick, kind of on the same topic but off topic. Have you ever like read the original Bible or like looked into it?
I have not. I didn't know that it was out there. Are you talking about the one with the 4 books or the 6 books? I mean, yeah, that have been taken out.
I don't know. I'm not even gonna cap you. I don't even know like the contents of it. I just know there's like allegedly like the original Bible, and then then of course there's King James.
I never read it.
Yeah,
I never
heard it's like
I didn't even know it was out there to read.
I watched a couple episodes of VeggieTales growing up. Extensive Bible knowledge. I did kind of grow up in the Black church though, but we was one of those families where we go like, we might have like a random stretch of 3 months where we go consistently, and then we stop going for like 6 months. So I know a little bit here and there.
I think that's the Black experience for most people, Jelani. It's like you have the churches where you go every week.
Yeah.
And then like you don't go for like 6 months, or football season comes back, or you guys miss one Sunday, and then that just turns into like a month of Sundays and everything like that. I think that's like most Black people.
Y'all ever spoke in tongues?
Never, no, never. And I don't play with that. I don't play with that. Like I know some folks, I'll be looking at, I'm like, bro, don't cap down like on God, bro. Like, cause God will strike you down, bro. Trying to play like that. Don't play.
Yo, my girl told me this story about she said that she was in church one time. She went over, she was like with this she was like what, I think 8, and she was at a sleepover. They all went to church the next day. And okay, 13. So she was 13. They all went to church. And she said that like everybody in there, including all the 13-year-olds, caught the Holy Ghost. And everybody was just in there speaking in tongues. And it said they was all in there crying. I was like, all right, somebody was capping. Somebody was capping. Like,
that shit probably like a Lil Uzi concert or something. Like fucking mosh pit. Like. There's no way everybody. Some people was just in there doing it because they felt the peer pressure of like, well, I don't want to be the only one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely rooms where the Holy Spirit moves and stuff, and like supernatural things happen to humans. Like that's definitely a thing. A room of 13-year-olds, there is definitely one kid who didn't, because you have to be like the presence of mind. Like it's kind of like with the entire legend of meditating with your legs crossed, crisscross applesauce, and you can float if you think you can float long enough. Like it's kind of like that. So I don't think 13-year-olds have the depth of like every single one in that room had the type of belief, faith that it took to be that, to feel that way with the Holy Spirit and everything. Yeah, I'm with y'all. I don't believe every single thing. Maybe a couple, that are really in tune and with the Spirit and stuff, but not the whole room for sure.
What the fuck have you been through in life to be catching the Holy Ghost as a 13-year-old? Like, how hard has your life been in these first 13 years that you're fucking catching the Holy Ghost?
Nah, bro. Don't say that. Because Chief Keef was 17 when he made Finally Rich. Finally Rich. And it's like, bro, he only 16. And it's like, 16, a long time to be poor. And I'm like, that is.
No, those were definitely Negro spirituals.
Facts.
He's an exception.
Nah, that's a fact. But nah, yeah, I don't know. 13 years old, it's a little early, man. I ain't
catching the Holy Ghost.
Man. Yeah.
What if your parents died at 8?
Damn.
See, the podcast every time it always just goes left, man. It just.
I was just saying, man. Like, hey, it's some folks going through some stuff at 13, bro.
That's
like,
true. There's definitely some 13-year-olds that had. I've heard Ludacris "Runaway Love" before. There's definitely some kids that are rough teenage years.
Fact.
You got anything else, Mo? You got anything else?
Nah, that's pretty much it.
I'm cool. I'm cooling right now. Is there any other topics before we give our parting shots?
I think we cleared the main topics for this week. This wasn't like a super crazy week like that as far as events. Next week we got Drake coming out. You know what I mean?
For
So
sure.
yeah, y'all talk about that.
Real quick before who would have been first, second, and third if Kanye had released next week with Kendrick and Drake?
You mean
Drake would have been
sales
first.
wise?
Kendrick would have been
Yeah.
second. Kanye would have been third.
Yeah.
Kendrick would have been first, Drake would have been second, Kanye would have been third. And Kanye would have been third because of the listening parties. Kendrick would be number one because people have been waiting 4 years for him, and people like Kendrick albums. People don't I don't care how much we're gonna hype up this Certified Lover Boy. People don't care about Drake albums. That's a hot take. That's a hot take 2 hours in. People don't care about Drake albums. People don't
Depends
care
on what
about
Drake
Drake.
album we
People
talking
care
about.
about
I don't
Drake
know,
singles.
bro.
People are gonna but people don't care about the level that they care about a Kendrick album. The level that they care about people who make projects. Drake wants to make a project, and he has attempted to make a project for a long time. It's not his strong suit, and he's heard that for the last 6 years. So he's gonna try to make a strong project. You can't make no cohesive project. You're not Kanye. You're not Kanye. You're not Kendrick. You're not Cole. You're not Tyler. Tyler can make a whole project of art.
Don't know about this one, brother. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm running with it.
Drake can't make a cohesive. So you don't think Nothing Was the Same or Take Care was cohesive?
Yeah, those were cohesive projects.
Yeah, those are
great
cohesive.
projects. Great project.
If you're reading This Is Too Late,
It wasn't. Nothing Was the Same. Wasn't the best project of 2013, but I mean, it was cool.
That's debatable, but I thought it was a very dope project. You know what I mean?
I mean, what's a bad project?
I mean, a cohesive project is there's a cohesive project and then a list of songs with a theme. Like Drake makes a list of songs with a theme. Like he'll be like, all right, I'm starting off lyrical, miracle, spiritual. Then I go slow songs, R&B, and then I end it off with some bars. And that's like the structure of his projects. I'm talking about a song that leads into another song, that leads into another song, and the whole thing sounds like one long song. That's a cohesive project to me. That's something that Kendrick has done. That's something that Cole has done. That's something that Tyler does with all of his albums, even though all of them haven't been that good. That's something that Gambino did with 31520. And that's something that I haven't really heard from Drake.
I just think he's just not that type of artist where there's gonna be like interludes that.
Well, you just said
tried to do that with
you just answered, Jelani. You just answered.
No, but
Drake, you aren't that guy.
Nah, bro. Because if you listen to listen, I'll say Scorpion and Views were both like okay to me. Those are probably the Drake albums I listened to the least. But I think if you take an album like Take Care, it's definitely themes that connect the songs. You know what I'm saying? Now, is it like one long storyline? No, but as far as being like a narrative or anything like that, but if you're talking about having the similar themes on the songs and the vibes, having like the production from on If You're Reading This Is Too Late was like pretty consistently throughout. You know what I'm saying? So it's
that was a good project. That was a good project. If you're reading,
I don't think you just say he didn't make
project.
cohesive. Now Scorpion, I could say that was not cohesive. It was cool. Like his song Scorpion, I like, but it wasn't top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't his most consistent.
Yeah.
And Take Care. But I mean, but everybody recognizes Take Care as that project for Drake. But go ahead, Mo. What did you say? I'm sorry.
I was just saying, I don't think those songs aged as well, especially the songs on the B side, like Jaded, Summer Games. Like Jaded is straight.
Jaded is cool.
Yeah, but
I like
Games.
I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off. No, I'm saying I liked In My Feelings from the time I first heard that. Like I knew it that was. But the Michael Jackson song, like, no,
that wasn't
Ratchet Happy Birthday.
Yeah.
It don't matter to me.
We gotta thank Shiggy that song didn't get played on the radio because he made In My Feelings hot, and then they put that as a single instead.
Bruh, facts.
Shout out to Shiggy, man.
Cause that Michael Jackson song, it was like that was probably like, I don't know. You got the Michael Jackson feature, but that probably like one of his weakest verses he threw. Like some club in the middle of like Indiana. Some studio in the middle of Indiana was like, hey, bro, hey, 1,500. I got Michael Jackson. I got some.
You got the MJ stems.
Right.
They said that was the weekend.
No, that's the thing that scares me the most, bro. Is that album? He had the song where he was talking about killing XX Tentacion. That was crazy. Can I say that online, like publicly?
I don't think he acts. That's kind of far fetched to me, bro. Like that he had these like.
He's
Come
talking
on,
about
bro.
killing XX on there, and and it was a radio song too. It's a single. Every time I heard it, I was like, bro, like this is scary, bro. He's just talking about killing XX Tentacion,
fully
bro.
bagged in exchange for body bags. Yeah, sickly niggas. Nah, I feel you. I mean,
I'm not, bro.
I don't
Drake,
think he had that many.
that's why Kanye's scared every time he texts him the little purple emoji, bro.
nah, you see, Kanye ready. He got Ruga performing the GD anthem. Bro,
Oh,
that
they
was
call that man GD Jakes.
Yo,
Bishop GD Jakes.
G Jakes is hilarious.
yo.
G Jakes.
I wonder is he trying to unite Chicago? Like, is he thinking like I'm gonna have him play GD anthem and then throw on some Dirk after this, and then we all gonna be good?
Bro, when I heard that, I was like, what is he doing right now? Like, this is a joke. Like, it's supposed to be like a gospel. And then he was just, and everybody else on the little porch, they just looking at Kanye like, bro, is you serious right now? And they were bobbing their head to every other song. That's how you know, like, they were like legit. I think that was the first time I don't think they knew that was going on. That was about to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta think, bro. Like, that wasn't just some like this meant like GD. Yeah, GD. They didn't let the GDs in the building. It's like, bruh, there's plenty of people who just realistically, that's another thing I was thinking about. I'm like, I know there gotta be so many people who's affiliated with, with other sides that's probably standing there right now, like, bruh, like what's going on right now,
But my
I know.
boy, one of my friends, he texted me. He was like, finally, we get our moment to shine. Bloods and Crips, they done had their anthems for years. We finally get them down. I'm like, yo, this is supposed to be a gospel album. He's like, so, GDs, we need something. I was like, bro, y'all wild.
Yeah, people done died over that, so it is kind of weird. Like, I get that you're Kanye, but you can't. You know what I mean? Like, them youngers in Chicago, you gotta think like if it's a kid in Chicago right now that was born in like 2003. You know what I mean? You 18 right now. Like, you're not even old enough to remember when college dropout or late registration came out,
Right.
or really even graduation. So it's like Kanye don't even hold the same weight to you at this point that he might hold to like 21 and up generation. You know what I mean?
Right.
They ain't trying to stop
with the
shooting
GDs
because
in the
you
dough.
put them on a song.
Yeah, bro. Like, yeah. And that's why I'm like, for you to do that, I don't know. It's just kind of like, it's especially for you to play the Lil Durk song afterwards. And then even on the album, he had the Lil Durk song, Jonah. And then he had a song with Ruga on the next one with Okay, Okay. And, I'm like, are you trying to show unity here? And I'm like, because the best way to do that is just get them together, but yeah, I don't even know. I don't know how that would work because I don't know Lil Durk said he on a different type of time now.
Yeah,
RP Duck,
people
RP
shouldn't
Duck.
die, bro. Like, that sounds good for the PR, but in real life, like, you're not trying to kick it with these dudes that, you know what I mean, y'all done had like bodies on both sides, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know though. When they take your brother, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Like, that might just be like the final straw. I don't know, but I don't know. I'm not in his shoes, so.
Yeah.
I don't even think that was the final straw. I feel like the final straw was like them coming to his crib. Cause I'm like, if him and India was there, that means his kids had to been there. Cause it's like, where would his kids be? And it's just like, you had that situation happen with your kids in the house. It's like, all right, bro, like things are getting out of hand. Cause I know like, if his girl didn't talk to him, like his family, like somebody had to be like, all right, bro, like it's time to chill out.
Yeah. He said he was gonna stop dissing dead people and stuff like that.
Allegedly he had a line about Duck on the album. He said 26 years his he got out to see his son get killed. Father got out to see his son get killed, and they were saying allegedly Duck, his dad got out from doing a 26-year bid the week he got killed.
I hope not, man. I hope that's just a rumor, bro. Because that's, you know what I mean. But like I said, people done died in real life, so I can't sit up here and say like, "Oh, y'all going too far" or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, Chicago's crazy, man, for sure. Like, yeah, Chicago's crazy, dog. That's
But I don't
crazy.
know if it's
But
more crazy. Atlanta,
I was about to say
bro.
Atlanta's crazy too. Like,
Atlanta,
a
not.
lot of these Chicago dudes dying. R.P. Vaughn dying in Atlanta, so
Yeah, Atlanta,
it's
wild right
it's
now.
crazy. Oh, it's crazy over here too. It's crazy over here. So it's like
Oh
it's
yeah,
crazy
Mississippi. Oh
everywhere.
yeah.
It's crazy everywhere.
It really is, bro. It's like you see just hearing about the different stories. Like one person that I kind of went down a rabbit hole of listening to is Mo3.
Yeah,
And
that was messed up.
R.P.
yeah,
Mo3.
I heard 'cause I saw that he had that song with Murray coming. So it just like I never heard his music before. And how he was always portrayed to me online was as this, dude that used to be like in the church, kind of rap. I mean, he kind of sing kind of gospel-y, like, but then he turned to the streets. And so I didn't really know him. Man, I listened to this man music, bruh. He was about all the smoke. Like, he dissing
Vaughn.
everybody. Like he was dissing everybody dead ops. Like he was like the main one doing that. He was on that type of time heavy out there. And I was like, okay, now I see
How y'all feel about those things? Well, because when I hear them things, I be like, bro, like you kind of spoke this into existence. I ain't gonna hold you. I mean, RP you, but like with the way you was talking, bro, it was kind of crazy. Like Vaughn was talking crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Vaughn allegedly was you know what I mean, was really out here, you know what I mean,
right.
catching real bodies in real life, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me. Like at the end of the day, some of these rappers are they exaggerating it and they're portraying a lifestyle, but then there's certain rappers that's really just speaking on what their circumstance was, you know what I mean? Like they're not when they talk about shooting at people and dead ops and all that stuff, that's what they knew growing up. And these people are still like in their late teens or early 20s. So
Jacksonville. We forgot about Jacksonville,
yeah,
Jelani.
that whole situation is yeah, like
Yeah.
boy, like they're going to grave sites and that
Yeah.
song is just so both of those songs, the Who I See You and the not
Who
the
I
Who I See You, the Who I Smoke and the When I
When I
See
see
You.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of those are just like, yo, like y'all rapping about dead ops over a Vanessa Carlton sample. Like, bro, what are we doing right now? Like,
For real.
you're gonna sing it over
And they
Fantasia.
made Billboard. It made Billboard.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like they were just like they made Billboard hits off of a thousand miles, bro. Like
Oh,
and
and
then and then
they naming the ops. They saying the
they
names.
naming them, and then he going with the Fantasia. He said, oh my gosh, I can't even. He said he went out to the Chinese restaurant on his birthday. Then we got him in his face, like bro, like when you
You ain't have to
harmonize, we
speak it. You
shot
could
you
have just said
in
the
your
lyrics.
face, like on his birthday, bro. Like it's crazy, dog. Like they
You
shot
know,
that man on his birthday dinner.
yeah, like, and that's why it's like it's hard with some of these situations. It's like when you're not really going through them because I'm like, bruh, if you kill my brother, two of my best friends on one of my best friends' birthdays after, and you shot me, had me in critical condition, it's kind of like, bruh, like I have no picks no more. It's kind of like it's we on a different type of time now. So like it's one thing to when these people is talking about dead ops and there's not really nothing going on, but it's like these people really be in some stuff, man. And it's like you I kind of can't blame you for feeling this resentment to want to make these songs. And then it's like why not blow up off it too?
Well, the blowing up off of it, that's kind of like you can go down a little lane with that of just that's the man setting the kids up to be in a cycle of this, because if you reward it, then the kids are just gonna keep doing it, so they could like kids are gonna go out of their way, when we see like we came from the suburbs and it'll be people that will chase that lifestyle just so they have a chance to blow up off of it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's like a cycle. It's a vicious cycle. So I don't really like rewarding it, but I mean it's their reality. So it's like I don't know. It's just it's a trap, bro. It's a trap. Ironically, because that's, but yeah, it's a trap. It's I don't know. It's just a lot with it, and I think when you see people like Little Loaded and Fredo, are people of those dudes, but they died as side results from it. Like what I'm saying, like Lil Loaded, he said he killed himself over the girl because she cheated on him. That's like
Yeah.
years of trauma from anything that he probably seen in his neighbor. His name is literally Little Loaded. Like his name after a loaded guns. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the trauma that you I don't know. It's just a lot that goes into it, and it goes back to the whole mental health thing and stuff that people discuss over the past 5-6 years and stuff like that. It's just so much that goes into it. I don't know if there is a solution. I don't know if there. You guys have any solutions? Like, I don't
Oh
think there
no,
is a solution.
it's you'd have to. They'd have to not be raised in those circumstances, and that it requires money and resources, and it's a like you say, you trace this all the way back to like slavery. Like if you really wanted to, this is extremely deep rooted and complicated when we talk to what these kids go through and like the whole gang structure and like wanting to be a part of something. It's all like a mental thing. You know what I mean?
No, and I feel like one of the biggest issues is that, you've heard plenty of people say this, just how these kids ain't got no OGs. These kids ain't got no guidance. That was one thing when I was watching Judas and the Black Messiah and really watching that and I did the research on the ages of everybody. And everybody involved in the Black Panther, like high ranking people, were like under 25, you know? And that's crazy to think about. Like we're all over 25, 26 and up. And it's just like we sit here and I couldn't imagine being 21, 22, being the lead charge, because I'm just like, I knew, like, I don't know, just mentally, I don't think, in some of these situations, I would have been able to take on being the lead and take charge of some of these situations. And that's what, especially like the whole Black Panther, and that's why I feel some of their actions, and nothing against the Black Panther. I'm not saying like, I've great movie and everything and just great story, but it's just some of the stuff they were doing was wild. It's like, all right, bro, you don't need to
Did,
be on
did, did
top
you
of
say great movie?
I mean, it was a good movie. I mean, you get what I'm trying to say. I'm
I
just
hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. But just to
nah,
clarify, the Marvel movie has nothing to do with the actual Black Panthers. And okay, continue.
yeah, I mean they're based off of real events. And that's why I'm saying, just like a lot of some of the stuff throughout that movie, which is where it's shedding the light to a lot of stuff from the Black Panther Party. And I feel some of it was wild. Like as I said,
Shout out Ryan Coogler.
right. But yeah, like so, and I just think some of that came with, a bunch of younger people just like taking actions into their own hands, so, and I feel like that's kind of the same situation with a lot of times in the streets. A lot of these dudes, they ain't got nobody to tell them like, bruh, you shouldn't be doing this, or even just like there's no hierarchy. So it's like, if I got beef with this person from this gang, it's not, I can't just have my OG go talk to their OG and then they discipline him and then, the situation settled. Now it's like, nah, like if I want this situation to be settled, I got to go handle it, and that's the only way I'm gonna get any type of resolve out of this, you know?
But what do you have to say about the? I don't know. I probably talked about it last week because I was so obsessed with it last week. But the Lenny Cook story, um, what do you do when the kids are just hard headed? Like like because and the kids are only going to listen to a certain type of person as well. Like kids aren't going to listen to me. Like they a lot of kids in those situations, they just wouldn't respect me in that light or whatever, trying to talk some sense into them. So like how would it? What do you do when a kid's hard headed and he thinks he knows more than you?
Well, I mean, I'm saying in the situation of like, if it's like street stuff, that's why I'm like, if there was like a hierarchy, especially within to the gang culture that they're subscribing to, then from there it's kind of like, yeah, it won't be no regular person like you or I that will be telling them don't do X, Y, and Z. It will be like, if you go do X, Y, and Z to this person, there'll be repercussion from you, for you, because you are part of the gang. You didn't go through the proper channels, X, Y, stuff like that. And so, and I think that's kind of the issue now. Is you're kind of like, there's nobody to be like, hey, if you do this, there's going to be consequences. The only thing that they have to fear is jail. And then that's not even a fear for them, because it's like, all your homeboys are in jail already anyway. So it's kind of like, shit, it is what it is,
So you're saying like there's no Lenny Cook living out of jail to come back and tell these kids, hey, I'm Lenny Cook, don't be me.
I guess in a sense, because I mean, as I said, you kind of got like all these kids are in gangs. It's just like, but not a lot of these gangs are like your neighborhood, and then it's just like, and as I said, it's not just about having somebody who's like, I've been through the street life. Because there's people like Wallow, like Wallow 267. It's like he's out here. That's a great example. But nobody. It's like people listen to him, but it's not the same. I'm talking about having real actions for if you do X, Y, and Z, then it's like if you don't go through the proper channels, that's like goes into like checking in, stuff like that. It's kind of like there's channels for these certain things. But it's just like a lot of you kids now are just like, nah, I don't want to check in. I don't want to go through the channels, none of that stuff, So
I hear you. Any closing thoughts, Jelani, but before we move on?
I mean, as far as that topic, like I just overall, I just think is like we covered this basically, but it's just it's almost like you just gotta do what you can do within your ability. You know what I mean? Like as far as there's no one black person that could be like the savior of the generation, or just some of this stuff is just so systemic that it's kind of beyond us, and we kind of just gotta control what we can control. And if we got like a little cousin that's acting bad, if we can help them out, you know what I mean, or anything like that, and do what we can do. But as far as trying to save all the kids and everything like that, it's unfortunately it's just not realistic. You know what I mean?
Can't save everyone.
Right.
All right, Mo, is there anything else before we get to parting shots?
Nah.
Jelani, anything else?
No.
All right, cool. All right, so parting shots, thing that we have now, everybody would kind of give like their thing of something that they observed this week and just kind of just speak on it. So I guess I'll kick it off. I want to give flowers to Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross, a Twitch streamer, kind of blew up. Well, not didn't kind of. He really blew up over the past year. Kind of overnight happened after grinding for years and years and years on Twitch. Had all the rappers come into his house and everything like that, and just had a bunch of viral moments. This past week, one of his best friends in the streaming community, Prime, he's 23 years old, from O Block over there in Chicago and stuff like that, living in the house with his granny, his cousins, you know how the story goes, like living with all of them and stuff like that. He went out there, visited Prime and in Chicago for a couple of days for a concert with Cole Bennett and Ski Mask and all those guys, because he was cool with them. And he visited Prime in his house, and the cameras followed him, and Prime showed him his room that he's been streaming in, that he's been on Aiden streams all this years. And Aiden's in the mansion in LA and Beverly Hills and stuff like that, and he's in this tiny room, and he's been streaming with Aiden all those years, all these months. And he's of course excuse me, come out to LA a couple times to visit, but this is where he lives and stuff. And he's like, man, he's been shot at. He got a new car from his streaming money, and he was shot at, and the car got totaled like right after the fact and stuff like that. And he said, man, it's just he was ready to get out, and he was just tired of it and everything like that. And he always stayed down with Aiden. So Aiden moved him out to Beverly Hills, bought him his own place in Los Angeles, 10 minutes away from his mansion over there in Beverly Hills and stuff like that. He gave him some bread and bought him a Tesla as well. Took care of the payments on his crib for a year. So salute to Aiden Ross for doing that. Also moving out I Show Speed, another streamer in Ohio. He moved him back out to Beverly Hills because he's popping, and he got to the point where he couldn't just be in regular school anymore over there in Ohio. So he moved him out to the mansion as well. So salute to Aiden Ross for looking out after his homeboys and taking care of them this week. I thought that was really dope.
I guess I'll go next. This week was the 20th anniversary of Aaliyah passing away. And I didn't see it so much this year, but I know in previous years, whenever like her birthday or the day of her death would come around, there would be like these weird group of people that always felt the need to be like, well, when she was alive, let's say like Monica was selling more records than her, or Brandy was selling more records than her, or anything like that. And it was always just weird to me how people always feel the need to be contrarians, no matter what the situation is. And you could like it's a situation where a 21-year-old woman died in a plane crash, and you still got people that just can't take the moment where people are observing her or praising her without being dickheads and trying to be like number nerds or whatever about, well, she wasn't, Timberland and Missy were producing the songs or writing the songs. And it's like, fam, you're kind of missing the point. Like, there was a certain level of flatness that she had in order for these songs to be hits, as far as the videos and her look and how she was dressing and things like that, that help make these songs be as big as they were. So just overall, that's also like one of the first news stories I actually remember. I think that is like the first news story I can remember is Aaliyah dying. And like 9/11 was like right after that, maybe like a month later or something. So yeah, just overall, I just want to say rest in peace to her and all the victims of that plane crash. It was 20 years later. So
yeah, I want to say I remember that as well. My what's it called? My sister, I remember she came in the room crying, like, and I was like, "What? What's going on?" And she was just like, "Aaliyah died." I was like, "Oh man." But I'll say for me, I'll have to go with Stephen A. Smith. Out here hosting Jimmy Kimmel. Think he did a real good job from the clips that I did see, and I'm just excited for him, man. I feel like this is the beginning. I feel he's finna work his way into. He's just an overall entertainer, and I feel a late night show would be amazing for him, and I feel that's kind of the route he's heading towards. So I want to give a little shout out to Stephen A, man. Keep grinding, be an inspiration for, us young black males, especially, young black males like Rashad, and no telling the sky's the limit for you, man.
It's salute Stephen A. He also had quite frankly, remember, like that was something he said. But when he was warming up, he was like, "This is my first time hosting a late night show." I was like, "Dude, you had a late night show." Like, I remember. But anyways, definitely salute to Stephen A. I love to see him host SNL. Although I've had the Stephen A. discussion a couple times on this channel. It's not really like I don't think aspiring sports journalists, especially young black sports journalists, should necessarily like follow Stephen A. Like, I know that sounds horrible and some haterish stuff, but you shouldn't really follow him. You should stay true to the craft, learn journalism basics first, because everybody wants to skip steps and see where Stephen A. is now. Stephen A. was in newspapers for 20 years before he was ever on TV yelling. So I want people to not skip steps. Learn the craft. Get good at the craft, make mistakes. Have some emails from some angry high school parents first. Do your due diligence, work your way up, and then you can scream on TV and stuff because you learned how to do the stuff. Don't just try to make it screaming a bunch of hot takes on YouTube and TikTok. That's not journalism. That's just a bunch of BS. That's just a bunch of bull junk, as Coach would say. So that's my kind of response to that. But definitely salute to Stephen A. And he's definitely inspiring kids. But I just want kids to know that's not what you should do if you want to do this. That's it. All right, cool. That sounds good. Well, listen to us on all streaming platforms. Shout out to Mo for getting us on all streaming platforms. This is episode 4. People, everybody go around and let the people know where you can find them, I guess. I never done that on here. That's different.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, _Jelani, 2 underscores at the end. Jelani, Jelani.
But you can find me at Twitter and Instagram at rbmo _ yeah, find me on all platforms as Mo knows. And yeah.
SeanMilton.com. You can follow me on Twitter at freekennedy_Carter. Let's get it.